We all know that the billionaires are going to war with each other. Exclusive Bill Gates poured millions into dark money fund attacking Elon Musk. Now, as we know, Elon Musk called out Bill Gates a few weeks ago because Bill Gates is like, I care about climate and protect the earth and climate activism, and then he was shorting Tesla stock. Yeah, pardon. Research exclusively shared with Breitbart News identifies hundreds of millions of dollars flowing from Bill Gates Foundation to 11 of the 26 organizations that signed an open letter last month urging Twitter advertisers to boycott the company if Elon Musk restores free speech on the platform. Breitbart News report, based on research and analysis from the newly formed Foundation for Freedom Online, I like the sound of that. I analysed public filings to trace hundreds of millions of dollars in contributions from the letter signatories back to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Isn't that interesting? In total, 11 of the 26 anti-Musk organizations received funding from a Gates-backed entity. The New Venture Fund, which in 2020 received the largest one-year commitment the Gates Foundation had made in more than half a decade, funds four of the signatories. The for Media Justice, I love that, media justice, but they're not pro-free speech. That's just, oh, these places are funny. The Media Democracy Fund, democracy shit. The National Hispanic Media Coalition via the Media Democracy Fund, and Accountable Tech. Accountable Tech, hold tech accountable. Where have you been? This is weird. This is the first I've heard of you. I mean, I literally like work in the whole field of like freedom of speech and like in big tech. I've never heard of you. I've never heard of you. Where have you been hiding? Just sitting there in the background doing fucking nothing. That's what you're doing. The Tides Foundation, also a recipient of Gates Foundation money, funds five of the signatories. Free press. Okay. We can't believe that Musk wants to bring freedom of speech back to Twitter. We, the free press, are against this. Oh my god. Indivisible, narrow pro choice America, Media Matters. Aye. Well, it makes sense. Black Lives Matter Global Network. Yeah, well, obviously they'd be on there getting money for the. I mean, those mansions don't pay for themselves. Two other signatories are tied to the Gates Foundation. Empowering Pacific Islanders community. Moana. Make way, make way. Sorry, man. I've got a 14-month-old baby. I know. I know every song off by heart. Repro Action, a project dates back to neo-philanthropy. The open letters connection to the billionaire Microsoft founder is significant as Gates is in the middle of a public feud with free speech advocate Musk. Last month, Gates revealed his $500 million short position against Musk-owned Tesla, prompting Musk to call Gates a boner, boner killer. A boner killer alongside a meme of Gates as a pregnant man emoji. Gates is also an outspoken censorship proponent. No, he is not. Frequently calling on tech companies to do more. Censorship proponent, right? Okay, sorry. Misunderstood that. Frequently calling on tech companies to do more to stop health misinformation spreading online. Musk threatens to reverse Gates' strongly desired censorship policies and now faces the wrath of Gates funded NGOs. Recently, Musk asked his 94 million Twitter followers to uncover the funding behind the 26 NGOs who signed an intimidation letter threatening to destroy the company's advertising revenue if Musk reversed its censorship policies. Basically, see this whole private companies can do what they want. Well, it turns out that a bunch of really powerful big billionaire oligarchs all fucking came together to like stop a private company from doing what it wants. And what happened as a result? A lot of people on the left, oh, they fucking clapped and cheered, didn't they? They clapped and cheered. They fucking loved that shit. What strange behaviour from the left, as they like to call themselves. Musk followed up his request by highlighting one particularly shadowy group, Accountable Tech, musing, "I wonder who funds them." Oh God, don't say the name. His curiosity was prompted by a Washington Free Beacon investigation into Accountable Tech, which sought to get to the bottom of the non-profit's financial sponsorship. The Free Beacon visited Accountable Tech's corporate office in Washington and concluded the organization doesn't exist. Oh, there you go. That would be why I've not actually heard of them. The organization doesn't actually exist. Rather, Accountable Tech was merely a registered trade name for the North Fund, a shape-shifting non-profit group that uses aliases to push an array of left-wing causes from a shell office in Washington, D.C. Now, that's fucking interesting, isn't it? That's fascinating. Free Beacon then spoke to Caitlin Sutherland, the executive director of the Watchdog Americans for Public Trust, who identified North Fund as receiving significant capital infusions from two further non-profits, the 1630 Fund and the New Venture Fund. Sutherland found that the North Fund received $19.3 million from the 1630 Fund and over $11 million from the New Venture Fund, two organisations that share an address in DC similar to the North Fund. The groups operate under at least 50 trade names, including Fix Our Senate, Floridians for a Fair Shake, and the Voter Engagement Fund. However, the 1630 Fund and the New Venture Fund don't disclose their donors either, leading to a dead end in the money trail. This is really fascinating, isn't it? Isn't this? This is some odd behaviour. What odd behaviour, man. It's like an entire side of politics is so fucking shady. It's strange. I'm not saying big right, like Republican TM shady as fuck as well, man. But this is fascinating. What is known about New Venture Fund's dark money funding is this: it is backed by hundreds of millions of dollars from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Per FFO's analysis, disclosure files for the Gates Foundation grantee list show a whopping 102 separate cash grants to or through New Venture Fund, totaling an incredible $457 million since 2008, all going to left-wing organisations that constantly change their name and hide where they get their funding from. Isn't that strange? Philanthropy watchdog Sludge noted that the $70 million in cash grants identified from the Gates Foundation to New Venture Fund in 2020 is the single largest one-year contribution that the Gates Foundation has made to any other single grantee since 2014, and its second largest ever. The figure may even be higher. Influence Watch reports $126 million in 2020, while FFO corroborated at least $85 million that year from public records. Per FFO, Gates funding dropped all the way down to $11 million for 2021 after the 2020 election cycle ended, so I guess it just wasn't needed as much anymore, isn't it? It was like after Trump left office and Biden won, a lot of Soros funded places got their funding pulled by him, and they all got shut down. Really weird. It's dead strange. The sharp pullback in funding after the 2020 election makes sense, given the political nature of the New Venture Fund's work. It is the parent organisation for what has been described as one of the largest pro-Democrat dark money groups in America, the 1630 Fund, which happened to be another mega donor to anti-Musk signatory Accountable Tech. 1630 Fund, that's a lot of fucking information, right? I'm going to keep going. I want a cigarette. 1630 Fund was a major player in the 2018 midterm elections, but played an even more significant role in the 2020 cycle, spending roughly $60 million funding the most prominent Joe Biden. Wake up, Joe Biden. Super PACs, including seven-figure donations to Future Forward USA, League of Conservation Voters Action Fund, Take Back 2020, Priorities USA, Unite the Country, American Bridge, America's Progressive Promise, Pacronym, and other groups that spend hundreds. These are just like generic names. You know, like whenever you go into Matalan or any of those other sports shops and you just get those like shirts that just have like random nonsense on them that don't make sense. That's what those groups are fucking like. Millions of dollars combined on anti-Trump and pro-Biden ads. The Republican-led anti-Trump group, the Lincoln Project, Republican-led Lincoln Project, received $300,000 from the 1630 Fund in 2020. The non-profits of Arabella's network spend millions funding other political organisations and dark money groups such as America Votes and Centre for Popular Democracy, but they also spend millions of dollars annually on lobbying the US government. That means Gates' biggest one-year act of charity in more than half a decade, while running the world's largest philanthropy network, was functionally a pass-through payoff to surrogates of the Joe Biden 2020 presidential election campaign. So much for ending AIDS, world hunger, and disease. By the numbers, the Gates Foundation's top priority seems to be electing Democrats. Isn't that fascinating? Now, everybody's turning around and saying, like, oh, billionaires shouldn't be allowed to use their money to influence the fucking government. And, like, yeah, I would absolutely, completely agree with you. However, this is Musk. Musk has just bought a product. He's just bought a product and he wants to restore freedom of speech to it, which means that everyone, Democrat, Republican, right wing, left wing, will all be competing on a level playing field when it comes to dialogue. Right? That's fine, because the thing is, you know, when I say free speech, that means the left wing too. The left wing get free speech too. That's how it fucking works. And all of our ideas can compete on a level playing field. But for some reason, a lot of you don't want that. Weird. Musk recently announced, it's like saying you could beat me up and then I'm waiting outside after school and then you're not there. Well, I thought you said you could beat me up. Waiting outside your school. Me, tattooed, bearded, I'm 13. I can't believe you called me a poof for geography. Well, I'm just smashing his face into a nearby Skoda. Uh, Musk recently announced he'll be voting Republican for the first time in 2022, on top of his stated intention to reverse a half-decade of creeping censorship on Twitter that put him square in the path of Gates's philanthropic freight train of paid political proxies. Bill Gates is funding a veritable NGO army, and it is zeroing in on Elon Musk. Breitbart News requested comment from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the other organisations mentioned in this article, but has not received a response. Alan McCarthy, I've not seen Alan in ages. I've not seen Alan in a while. But yeah, this is all absolutely dodgy stuff. Bill Gates is using like secretive funds and NGOs to not just attack Elon Musk. See, this is the thing: is everyone, whenever you say the deep state, everyone's kind of like, and they always roll their eyes. What is this then? Like, what would you call this? These secret group like funds and everything that all change their names and they don't actually have a registered office address and shit like that. Look, I'm sorry, all that stuff's fucking weird, right? All of that is fucking weird. But I mean, we all know why though.